Good morning. This is Dr. Niramala Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of MCA, Madanapalle Institute of Technology and Science, Andhra Pradesh. I am going to discuss about constructors. So it is very important topic in C++ language. Let me explain one by one. So I'm going to discuss about what is constructor, what are the characteristics of constructor, what are the types of constructor. Along with the examples, I'm going to explain. If there are any queries, means you can discuss with the Google form. Introduction. So constructor it is nothing but it is a special method. It should be invoked automatically at the time of object creation. The thing is, if you create an object in the class automatically, so the constructor method it is to be invoked. There is no need of explicit invoking things. So that is why we are going to using for this constructor. So it is used to initialize the data member of the new objects. So the constructor as the, so what is the need? What is the main thing we should use in constructor means we have to give the same name and class name should be same. So the remaining non-members we have to use class name is to be different and member function is to be different. But in constructor there is same name should be there in class name as well as your method name. So these are the characteristics of constructor. The first thing is the name of the constructor is the same name is to be class name. I told you no. So class name and the method name should be there. So constructor mostly we have to declare in the public section. Through that member functions we have to invoke your private data members. So that is the main thing. But declaration of methods we should be used in the public access specifier. After that, the constructor, it won't return any values. So there is no need of giving for your return type. There is no return type. So we won't get for any return values. So it is automatically invoking when the object is to be created. Okay. So constructor can be, we can overload and we have to give the declaration as to be a virtual also we can give, and we cannot be inherit the constructor concept. So this is a syntax we are going to follow while using for your constructor. So we have to use two different kind of syntax which is using for your constructor. One is to be within a class, another is to be outside of the class. Okay. So once we have to given in the within a class, we have to give for your class name. Is there any list of parameter is to be there means we can give, or else directly we have to give the proper explanations within your class. Another method is once we have to declare the member function of the class, in out of the class we can give, that is called, we can say it is the out of the class declaration. So while using this out of class declaration, we have to give your name of the class, that is here name of the class. We can give for your class name, scope resolution operator. If it is list of parameter will be there means you can give list of parameter also. Okay, so after that within the thing we have to give the constructor definitions, so that is also we can give. So this is a simple example. I told you, no, we have two different kind of classes we can give with the help of your syntax. So this is first technique, simple method how we are going to using this constructor functions. Okay, I will give you for a hands-on training. Just few seconds. So if you go for online C++ compiler, so it will redirect for the first option. If you click on this first option, we can get the online compiler. Here I can copy and paste this code, whatever I given here. So this is called as a simple example for constructor. So this is called as for your inside of the class. It means that within a class we are going to using for your constructor concept. Okay, so here I am going to declaring for the header file. So here class name is your number. See here I have to use two data members. One is num, another one is to be ch. After that I have to use a method called number. Here, if you look on it, your class name also number and your method name is your number. So the compiler easily it is used to recognize this is a constructor function. Here, there is no argument I am going to use here. So this is called a no argument. So within this function, I have to initialize two values. The 50 is to be assigned to number. Another, the x variable is to be assigned to ch variable. So I have to assign some values. After that, within a main function, how your constructor is to be invoked here means we have to how we are going to creating the object. We have to create the object with the help of your class name. Name of the class is to be number. Here I have to create a object called obj. Okay, so with the help, once I have to create this object, automatically the object will be invoked that constructor function. So what is the constructor function here? I have to use to two values which is to be assigned to that equivalent to that data member variable. That means that I have to assign 50 to number variable and x is to be ch variable. So now we have to initialize that variable that equivalent to the data members. After that, we have to display that the two variables, that is number and ch. Now I have to execute with the help of that. So this is so what is the expected output should I get means the number should be 50 should I get and character should be x I should get. So if I run this, so we have to get some error. Let me check. Okay. So first thing, um, so here I'm going to give same thing. Okay. Now I will check one more time. So cout obj dot number. So first I will check whether this output is coming or not. Later we will go for proper indentation like that we can give. So I will check one output here. So the thing is I need to give here public, because the constructor should we can access through with the help of that, no? So that is the thing. Let me check. Public access. What is the error? Can give it here. I can give public because constructor we need to give in. Let me check. Number. Here I can give integer public number. I can give number is equal to like 10 I will give here. Okay, now I can check it. Cout. object dot num. The int number is a private within this contact. Okay. Okay. So all the data members and the member functions we should give in public access spheres. After that, I have to assign the ch is equal to like any variable we can give. Yes. Okay. So I have to create. I have to use two data member variable. One is number, another one is ch. So these two variables I have to access with the help of a constructor member. Here the constructor member is a number. So I have to assign value 10 I to assign to number variable, and yes, I am going to assign in ch. After that, how we are going to invoking this constructor in main method means inside the main method we have to create a object called as obj. So this is the class name and this is for your object name. So we have to create n number of objects. Here I have to create only one object, that is called obj. So with the help of that, once I created this object here obj, automatically the compiler is to be assigned that equivalent values of 50 and x2, that two variables. Okay, so that is the main purpose we are going to using for this constructor. After assigning that initialize the variables, we have to get the output of these two variables. So first thing, I need to get the display of your number variable. After that, I need to get the display of your ch variable. So one I have to show. So after that after that, so the end of next line, so we have to get the output cout obj object name dot ch. So we can give. So now if you compile means, so you will get two output. One is to be what is the output of this? Endl I am going to use to. So I will invoke here. Next one is object. Let me check whether it is working. Ch variables. Obj dot ch. Okay, so we can give it another variable called as integer. So like two variables we can give. With the help of that we can go. Let me see later. Okay, number 1. Okay, now we are going to assign this variable as to be, some mistakes will be there, let me check later. 20. Okay, so I have to assign two variables. Here I have to use number 1. So you will get, so 10 two variables I have to use. One is number, another one is to be number 1. So 10 and 20 you will get. Okay, so the same thing, another concept is we have to use the another outside also. The same thing, with the help of that inside the class we are going to using for your constructor. If you go for your outside of the class, I told you you have to use, how we are going to use to specify the constructor means, you have to use the class name as is to be there. After that, scope resolution operator we should give. Further, we have to give for your class name. If it is there any argument will be there means, so we have to give the argument name. So after that, within your member function, you have to give whatever statement we want to give means, we should give within your constructor. So this is the way we are going to using here. So this is another example for your outside of the class. Okay. So when you come to your type of constructor, so constructor have three different kind of types will be there. One is to be default constructor. In default constructor means we are not giving for any arguments. Directly we have to invoke your constructor. That is called, we will say it is the default constructor. Another one is to be parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor, we are going to pass some arguments within that function. So with the help of that arguments, we are going to assign or we are going to invoke some values with the help of that arguments. That is called, we will say it is the parameterized constructor. Another constructor is called as copy constructor. So here the copy constructor means we have to create one object. With the help of that object, we are going to assign the value to the another object. That is called, we will say it is the copy constructor. So the same value should be there in more number of objects. That is called, we will say it is copy constructor. So I will explain one by one. First one is default constructor. Here the default constructor means the constructor do not have any argument. I told you here have no arguments. So how we are going to use this default constructor in your C++ language? Here the same thing. So you have to use your class name as a sample. Here the class name is to be sample. So within that, in public access file, you have to use your constructor. So constructor name also is a sample. Here there is, look at here, there is no argument. So I told you this is called your default constructor. Okay, so within that method, constructor method, so I have to print a value called as welcome to C++ language. So that content I need to display here. Okay, so this is the definition I have to given in the class example. So how we need to invoke this default constructor in main method means simple thing. Within your main method, just you have to create an object alone. The object is directly invoke here that default constructor. There is no need of specifying with the help of dot operator we need to invoke. There is no need. Once we have to create the object means automatically it will be assigned that equivalent that values to the variable. That is the main purpose we are going to using constructor. Here I have to use two different kind of objects. One is to be S1, another is to be S2. If I create this object, automatically it is going to assign and display that particular values. If you look on this output, so you have two different kind of same values you are going to print it two times because I have to create a two objects S1 and S2 object. So the same value you are going to get welcome to C++. So again one more time you will get welcome to C++. Another one is parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor means, so we have to pass some arguments within the member function. That is called, we will say it as the parameterized constructor. So it allows to pass the arguments while object creation. So this is one thing is when you use your constructor member, there we have to pass some values. Another step is when you invoke or when we create an object, there you have to pass some values through the argument. So when you pass the argument, that value is to be assigned that data members. That is called, we will say it is the parameterized constructor. If you look on this, so I have used a program called as addition program. So your class name is to be add. So in this I have to use here constructor member called add. So if you want to add means, so definitely I have to use two numbers I need to give. So here I have to use for x variable and y variable. So that is I have to use for in the arguments. So after that within the member function add, so I have to add these two value. So that value is to be displayed in the output. Okay, so how we are going to invoke this add method in the main function means, so I have to use first I have to create the object. First object is called as a1. So this is the first object. Here if I create an object, So what is a parameterized constructor? It allows to pass the arguments while object creation. So that is the meaning of, we can say it as the parameterized constructor. Here if I created this object, meanwhile I have to pass the how much of argument is to be so the equivalent of arguments I am going to pass here. So here I have to use two different kind of arguments. So I have to pass two arguments 5 and 10. Okay, so if you created this first object means automatically here x is to be assigned 5 and y is to be assigned to 10. One more object I am going to create it. So after creating, what I am going to do, I have to invoke here that constructor method. So this is also, we can give another alternative options. So this is another choice. First also it is also right only. Second options also it is to be right only. Here we have to assign this 10 and 20 to that particular variable x and y variable. After allocating that, we need to assign that a2 here. a2 dot x is equal to 10 and a2 dot y is equal to 20. So like that we are going to assign this value. So what is the main concept? I want to add these two numbers. If you get for your first value 10 plus 5, you will get for your 15. Another object you will get for 10 plus 20, which is equal to 30. So like that we can get our outcome. So this is called, we will say it as the parameterized constructor. Another one is copy constructor. So copy constructor is to be invoked if an initialize an object from another object of the same type of your class item. So this is the thing we are going to use. So the same type we should be there. So we have to copy from one object to another object. Okay. So that is why we are going to use. So the thing is here we have to create the class is called as a item. So class name is to be item. Here I am going to using one constructor, that is default constructor. Here I am going to use to for values to be 100. So this 100 is to be assigned my variable. Another look on here, this is called, we can say it is the copy constructor. How we are going to using the copy constructor means, so we have to give the constructor name as to be item. So we need to pass the argument here. Within this argument, how we are going to give, usually we will give the data type. But if you use your copy constructor, here we have to give the class name as a data type. So that is the main thing we need to follow. After that, we have to use the ampersand symbol. After we can give the data member. After given this, so you have to give the definition as like this. So your data member is to be number. So here your copied variable is to be x. So whatever value here it should be there, so that value is to be assigned that variable. Okay. So this is called, we will say it is a copy constructor. So whatever value is to be there, so we have to display with the help of your display function. So the display function is to be non-constructor function. Okay. So it we'd have a void return type. So we will print like this. How we can invoke this copy constructor and the default constructor in the main function means, within your main, first thing I need to create first object like item A. So if I use a object is created means automatically, so here the value is to be assigned that variable. Here number is equal to 100. So one value I am going to get like number is equal to 100. Another one is I'm going to creating the one more object called as B. So this is called, I told you, this is called, it is an example for your copy constructor. How we are going to copy means, already you have a object A, we have assigned some value. So that value we are going to assign another object, it is called as B, item B of A. Now A also having the 100, meanwhile the B also having the 100. So this is the another category of your copy constructor. Come to your next line. This is also, it is called as here, we will say it as the copy constructor. We will say it as the assigning your one object to another object. So this is also, we can say it as the copy constructor. Here item is your class name. Here C is your object. Here I am going to assign your B object to C object. So whatever value is to be there in B object, that value is to be copied to C. So this is called, this is also, we can say it is the copy constructor. So we have to given two different kind of ways. Okay. So after that, whatever value will be there in this item method. So we have to display with the help of a display method. So we have to use to three different kind of objects we used here, that is A, B, C. So that three objects we are going to display with the help of a display method. So A dot display means, so first you have to create it, that 100 you can display. Another one is B dot display. So the same value you have to display one more time. Another one is C dot display. The third value we are going to display one more time. Okay. This is called with the help of your copy constructor. Okay, thank you. If you have any queries or anything will be there, feel free to ask any questions with the help of this Google form. Thank you.